How's everyone doing? Yeah. All right. Y'all can hear me, can you? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to get my notes real quick. I'll lose myself.
That's cheating.
Yeah, I have notes, so I wouldn't lose myself. First of all, how many of y'all heard of this Supreme Force?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. How many have you not heard of this Supreme Force? Okay, well, don't be shy, because it's going to make a determination what my speech is going to be about.
Educate.
All right, I'll go with that one. There you go.
Come on with it.
All righty. Here we go. For those of you who do not know who this Supreme Force is, I'm going to talk to you briefly what we're about, maybe a little longer than briefly. First of all, we're not a militia. So some of the people that put these reports against us, the media, once here in San Antonio, across the nation, regard this Supreme Force as a militia. We're not a militia. They say that because of the fact that many of our members carry firearms.
And I'm straight.
Everybody here, a lot of you folks are carrying your firearms.
Amen.
Because this is Texas.
Yep.
And that's my argument, or excuse me, my statement to the people that do interview me. They ask, why do we carry weapons? What are you afraid of? We are not afraid of anything, I'll tell you that right now. This is our right.
Yep.
Many of our members are veterans, military folks. Guess what? We're sure not scared of anything. The other thing that we're not a domestic group, terrorist group. When we were in Georgetown, this female had a big old sign said, the FBI regards TITFF as a domestic terrorist organization.
A lie.
Guess what? We've educated the FBI.
Yeah.
They've come to my house a couple of times. We're not a domestic terrorist organization. Again, this is Texas.
Yep.
There you go. The third thing that we're not a political group. But many things that we are in touch with has to do with politics.
Amen.
But we do not take sides on whether it's a Democrat or Republican. If anybody's ever looked at our history, we've called out Republicans as well as Democrats. So we're not afraid to step in any of these politicians' toes. Because regardless of who they are, we're a lot bigger than they are.
Amen. Yep.
That's one thing that we as people that stand up for our rights, need to let the other people that don't know what the rights are, let these politicians know we're in charge. Many folks have forgot that. Many of the voters out here have forgotten that the people are in charge, not the politicians.
Yep.
Time to educate. But what is this Supreme Force? First of all, we're a nonprofit organization. That's why we do not endorse politicians. But, like I said, we do call out the bad ones. If anybody, especially here in Texas, wants to try to destroy our history, the best history across the country is here in Texas.
Yep.
When these folks want to destroy it, we call them out. We've called out Republicans as well, believe it or not. Like I said, we're not afraid. But we will also let the folks know who the good politicians are, that who do support our history, who support us. And that's all it is support, not endorsements. For all these people, these federal organizations who want to keep an eye on us, would you let them know? The other thing that organization is different from a lot of the other state organizations. Our board of directors, we do not get paid for what we do. There's a lot of other Texas organizations that are a lot bigger than us, that have been around longer than us, that their board of directors get paid. We love our state. We love our history. That's why we do what we do. Many of these other organizations have lost that love. They just want the money. We don't. Anything that's donated to our organization, all of our members, all that money goes right back into TITFF. When we go to different towns, different cities, which we've had, it's on our own dime. This organization has been in existence since 2017. It's still new. But we've gained so much ground against all these other organizations that are older than us, a lot of bigger than us. We've had a lot more victories than they have. Just look at our records.
Look behind you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one right there. The
Yeah.
TITFF.
Yeah.
Not 1 inch.
There you go. There you go. The other thing that we are, we're a bunch of Texans.
Yeah.
We don't take crap from anybody.
That's right.
We'll stomp on you if you do. Try to take something from us. Our mission is to protect history, Texas history. You look at the back of my t-shirt, protectors of all things Texas.
Yeah.
That's our motto. And it's just not words on a shirt. It's just not words on a website. It's what we do. People have asked, what have y'all done to protect history? You got it back. We saved this spirit of sacrifice. Our organization spent 3 years fighting in the city of San Antonio to keep it here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Many organizations said they were in those meetings. Our organization spent we went to those meetings 80 times. 89, excuse me, thank you, Brian. 89 times, our organization. And they were always the same people. You know why? Because we believe in it. Our members believe in what we do. Every once in a while you had a person from a different organization show up, one or two, one time. Our group, 89 times. Every week. We're sitting over there facing those well, you know, facing old Nuremberg and all the city council folks.
The
They need to
Marxists.
be relieved. There you go. Except maybe one or two.
The mini swamp.
There you go, mini swamp San Antonio. We need to get rid of them.
Yeah.
But like I said before, we fought them. The Texas Historical Commission listened to our fight. We spread the word throughout the state of Texas. What City of San Antonio is doing to try to take down, well, let me say, they say move, I say destroy instead of attack.
Yeah.
Exactly what they would have done.
Yeah.
They do not have a proven record that they can move a statue carefully. So that's what we've done. And I'm proud. I'm proud to be part of this group.
Yeah.
Now a lot of folks say, well, what do you do to protect our history? Here we go. A lot of people know May 30th, 2020, the biggest thing we ever done.
Save the Alamo.
Yeah.
Stand for the Alamo.
Yeah. Against BLM.
What was it, 5,000, 4,000, 5,000 BLM rioters and Antifa folks. We stood in there a few hours while they were throwing bottles, frozen water at us, or whatever was in those bottles, spitting at us, yelling at us. We stood in front of that Alamo. Donald Trump Jr. tagged us as the new defenders of the Alamo.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is Texas Freedom Force. We're not afraid of anything. We will continue the fight because like we've told folks, those people over there in San Antonio City Hall, they're not finished with this. They're gonna try to do it. The other reason why we do what we do is let people know what's going on. Reimagine the Alamo Plan. That's something we're against. You don't know what that is? I'll be more happy to let y'all know after this is over with. City of San Antonio strongly supports that. We don't. There you go. Thanks, there, Jack. Now the other thing that we do, besides physically standing in front of statues and monuments, yeah, we do carry our weapons out there. We have to. This is a message to everybody who tries to change our history. Texans are fighters. Let me rephrase that. We are Texans.
Yeah.
And even though that might be fun, sometimes what we've done, we have to go to Austin. The right way, like they say, go through legislation to get things changed. Our organization has tried to push a monument protection bill. This is the third session, total of 6 years, that our organization has tried to push one. And we get closer and closer. This year, we thought it was going to go. We had so much support at the House, the Senate, especially the Senate. It should have went through. There's a few rhinos out there that I won't mention, but Brandon will when he speaks. I don't want to repeat our information repeated. He'll tell you. That really put a wall against us after we met these folks face to face. We learned a lot this year too. Brandon will go into a little bit of Calendar's Committee.
Let's go Biden.
Let me just say, the other day I was listening to Doc Green show. There was a governor candidate on there, I won't mention his name. When he was up in Austin, he learned how Republicans really are.
Dirty, dirty, dirty.
Dirty.
I've been in the Republican women's and they're dirty.
Exactly. All they're there to do
They
is
lie.
to make the Democrats happy.
Yep.
That's what they do.
Kiss
When
their
he
honey.
learned that, he said it was the worst time of his life. Let me just say one thing. We learned that too. We saw it firsthand how these so-called Republicans go and basically rub the Democrats the right way.
Right. And they say they want only red in. They don't care if they're rhinos.
There you go.
They don't care. They're
That's the
dirty.
main reason our monument protection bill was never heard, was because of them. Main reason why this Texas Freedom Force has to continue fighting for our monuments, our statues, our history. Until a monument protection bill is passed,
You know what?
it'll never happen. We will still be out here.
That's right.
My son's gotta go, Mom, you're a little bit.
But I want to let everybody else know, if y'all are aware, since May, 3 historical statues have been taken down
I don't have any protection.
across the state of Texas.
Yeah, this is my protection.
If we had a monument protection bill that would have passed during the session, that'll never happen.
Right.
And unless everybody here listening reach out to your representatives,
Yeah, I've been in the Republican women's group in Comal County.
and just because they might have an R on their behind their name doesn't mean they're true Republicans. Let them know we need this bill passed.
Like Crenshaw, he's a rhino. He's been plotting stuff.
Because as long as there isn't one, every statue, every monument, every school, every street, every building is under threat. We have a list of over 30 statues that are under threat as it is right now across the state of Texas. The organization cannot go to every city to defend them. We do have members across every state, but the thing is this, we cannot go to every one, so we depend on every single one of our members
Where are you from?
to reach out to us, reach out to the city council, reach out to the legislators.
Yes. And I don't
That's
understand
boring,
why
but
Abbott
hey, it's gotta be
hasn't
done.
stopped it. Yeah, he's let it stay wide open.
The other thing that this Texas Field Force has done, or does do, is we help out with natural disasters. Now, I wasn't part of this group when Hurricane Harvey hit, and many of y'all know how much damage Hurricane Harvey did. This is Texas Freedom Force sent 2 groups down to one to the coast. 4 groups. I'm sorry, Brandon. See, I wasn't part, so I still don't know that. 4 groups. 1 down to the coast, and 3 out to Houston. And they cleaned up, helped clean up. We also have a search and rescue team. They also helped with that. Our Houston crew were the only organization to fly in with the National Guard. No other civilians ever done that. Our group has. It's something we're proud of. So whenever there's another natural disaster, or hurricanes in the Gulf, we do get phone calls, believe it or not. They want to know we're going to activate our group. When it's bad enough, we will. See, that's the other thing that's the other thing we do. We protect our history, we protect our state. Again, our motto is protectors of all things Texas. That's what we will do. The other thing that we also do, believe it or not, we actually go to parades. We get invited to small town parades. We have a float. We've entered in. We've actually won a couple of times. You know, so we're not as rough like everybody thinks we are. That's just the other side that we do, because a lot of these places know what we're about, and they do know we're here to protect and take care of Texas.
Yeah.
One thing I always say, and I know a lot of people, well, not y'all, because y'all already have never heard me say this before, but one thing I'm proud of our organization, besides that our board of directors don't get paid, we actually do have over 60,000 members and supporters across the great state of Texas. We are a small group. That's a small group. I can honestly say we do have members from the Panhandle down to the Valley, across Coastal Bend. Right, there you go. All over East Texas and West Texas. And right now, we have a chapter here in San Antonio, chapter in Houston. We got a chapter up in Dallas, Fort Worth. There we go. That one still is growing. So what we would like to do is, if you have any questions, y'all feel free to ask me after we're done here, and I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions. Y'all can reach us at txfreedomforce.org. It's right here in the back of my shirt. I'll be more than happy to turn around if you want, since I got an ugly mug. But anyways, my name is Ramon. I'm the outreach director here in San Antonio. I'll be more than happy to talk to anybody. I'm done here. And one more thing. God bless Texas.
All right, give it up for Ramon, guys. Up next, we got the Vice President of this Texas Freedom Force, Lamar Henry. Give it up for Lamar.
Let's go, Rocky!
Hell, to get old. Gotta get up here. I'll just start off by saying, let's go, Brandon! You know, I don't like talking down to old people with dementia, being an older type person myself, but in Basement Joe's case, I'll make an exception. In 10 months, this senile socialist has done nothing, not one thing positive for the people of America. Just the opposite. He's actively working to destroy the country with open borders, promoting CRT, perversion, government handout, destruction of business, and energy production. He demands $1 trillion in Green Deal programs, climate change hoaxes, amnesty for illegal alien trespassers, and other crap. calling it reconciliation and designed to rebuild America. Build back better, he said. Well, America was already building back better under the last real president, Trump. Party of America is what they become. Mindset that because you don't like 100% so of a GOP politician's ideas, that you can't vote for it when there are no other candidate that is better. And most importantly, one that can win against a Democrat. A Republican doing some good is immensely better than any worthless anti-American Marxist in the Democrat Party cartel of misfits. There are no perfect politicians in this world of imperfect people. And sometimes it may just come down to the lesser of two evils, kind of as a matter of speaking. The constant division and strife over lesser things can cause us to lose elections by not banding together and win against the enemy. The enemy within, that enemy of the people presently residing in or squatting in the People's House in Washington, D.C. Some argue that impeachment of Biden would only get us Harris, and so on, that it won't happen anyway under the present Congress and administration. Well, that's probably true, but it isn't any reason not to do it. Look at the constant investigations and several impeachments for years of President Trump. They knew he wasn't guilty, nor would he be convicted. The purpose was to create division and doubt, as well as hate. It worked. Along with election fraud, he got the Democrat figurehead Biden into office. We should attempt to impeach these misfits for the same reason, to create division and doubt in their ranks and to constantly stir the pot. We should expose the evil ideology that they spread. Now, one of the evils they spread is critical race theory. And one of its tools is called equity. The original meaning of equity was basically fairness. Sounds great, doesn't it? Well, it isn't. It's practiced by the left. Equity is discrimination. Their version of equity is unfair.
Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon!
As I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, it's practiced by the left. Equity is discrimination.
Just like your president.
Their version of equity is unfair. Their ideas on justice is revenge. Critical race theory is actually racism-based Marxism. Equity, along with critical race theory's other tools of diversity, inclusion, and social justice, has already destroyed higher education after decades of hiring Marxist professors that indoctrinate students to become good little communists, to spread hate and anarchy across American groups like Antifa and Black Lives Matter, and the media through businesses, churches, and their political parties. With the left, everything revolves around control and power over the people and not what benefits the people. Southern border. Or rather, I should say the wide open southern border. This open border fiasco is crucial for the power grab plans of the Democrats, and it is by design. I hear people say, well, what is the reason? Why are they doing? What is the end game to that? Well, there is an end game, patriots. First came face muzzles, then the social distancing, then the forced lockdowns, and then fines were a test given to the American people to see how far they could control us. The face panty has literally become the symbol of leftist politics. Lawlessness with burning and looting for several years was also part of this. Thousands participated in that, and yet no one was ever convicted. It is sad to say that the left was successful from their viewpoint. Now the vaccine mandates will provide the socialists with another tool to defund the police, gain more control over health care, and grab public sectors. They pit Americans against one another with their attacks on unvaccinated citizens, labeling C to marginalize millions of Americans. And so now have natural immunity for that. They cannot control natural immunity, and they cannot profit from it. I know, and you know, the only radical insurgents are those that are attempting a coup against America and the Constitution, and it is being staged directly from Washington, D.C. While the D.C. commies are destroying our economy, our energy sector, and our military, right now, they're presently actually on soft ground. They control the government by a very slim margin. They require more control, veto-proof power. And to do so, they will require a much wider vote margin in the national state elections. For instance, the vote count in national elections between the two major parties is typically a few millions of votes. Even cheating, the Socialist Democrats will improve their count, not only a few million more. This is why open borders and the enabling of illegal aliens is so very important to the Democrats. You know, I find it very disturbing that when you realize that our country is split somewhat down the middle between patriotic, freedom-loving, normal Americans and freedom-loving, Marxist-loving assholes who hate their country and our laws. Shame. But look, the way I look at it, we see the following, and folding in front of our faces every day. Look, they won't buy vote the infrastructure and that reconcile up with voting rights for these former trespassers and forgers. And then the Democrat Socialist Party will gain 27 million votes on their side and ensure victory in every election thereafter. It's pretty simple. And then they will also have a continuing flow of voting rolls as in number 1 and 2 above. It'll just keep on going forever. It's a pretty diabolical plan for one-party rule based on simple math and a bit of the negative side of human. The D.C. communists want you to shut your mouth and just be nice little government subjects, slaves, under the boot of the tyrannical elites in Washington. But it isn't just in D.C. Patriots, it is filtered down to the state and local and as well. Critical race supremacy is pure BS, people. It's bullshit. Propaganda wing of the Democratic Party, the media. These tools used by the left and their minions in the media are instruments of evil. I'm not buying what they're selling. Don't think I'll shut my mouth. What about you, Texas? Matter of fact, I don't think I'll get vaccinated unless I decide I need it. What about you, Texas? The critical race theory has destroyed the university across America. It has to be told that this racist BS has begun to infest grade schools from move quicker with this sense receiving COVID-19 recovery money from the socialists in Washington. Grant money comes through the American Rescue Plan, and it is not surprising if you were aware. With mandated requirements for at least 20% of those funds for teaching critical race theory, marginal like teaching transgenderism as normal behavior, as well as stipulations for teacher These grants are in the hundreds of millions of dollars, people. It's not just a short bit. The leftists has always turned everything they turn into crap.
Yep.
The school boards have been in, say, Loudoun County, Virginia, and other places for these underhanded agendas. Myself and a few others have recently confronted our own school district over this. After being exposed, they try to deny teaching CRT, but all they do is deny the words critical race and theory. They deny those words, but not the wording. Leftist school systems, while they may have a legitimate school curriculum, say math, science, reading, etc., many teachers insert their Marxist ideology into the subject matter, thus propagandizing the school curriculum. They control the classroom, they are in control of the subject matter, and they are speaking to a captive audience. Now let that sink in. They have an audience for 5 days a week, a captive audience made up of your children, and have been doing it right under your noses for years. Does that piss you off?
Yeah.
It sure ought to. The Democrats, socialists are betting that they will win in 2022 and in 24 to gain the power to implement their vote-getting border scheme and of spreading Marxism through the school system. But it doesn't have to go that way any longer. But if we don't quickly stop them right now, they will destroy our country. You can bet your last dollar on it. Every election from now on, small and large, from local, state, and national through 2024 will be vitally important. Don't vote petty. Don't win, vote to win with what you have and to defeat the communist ideology, spreading like this across our country. Everyone is important in this battle. I am a patriot. I'm just an old Vietnam vet with a mouth and a vote, but that's what I can do. However, patriots everywhere who can vote are important. Showing up at school if you're simply present is important. Attending rallies and town halls to be counted is important. Circles about the evil of the left is important. Shaming the idiots at every turn is important. And donating to the good cause is very important. Nothing is free in spite of what the Democrats say. They left gets huge donations to spread their garbage. Stand up and be counted. It isn't that hard. But one more thing. I mentioned that I am a 75-year-old patriotic veteran, but I am also a God-fearing, gun-owning conservative who believes in real science, male and female, the Constitution as the law of the land, Texas as a state and as an ideal, self-defense, family, honor, and principle, and I don't believe in fantasy, whether it be magical or biological. These things which I am unapologetic for, I have been called in short order a fascist, a Nazi, a racist, a bigot.
Rocky.
Hold on, man.
But that was out of endearment. There you go.
Also, a right-wing, extreme, militant, hate-filled, crazed, purple-bodied Neanderthal. But after January the 6th, after a little trip up to the Northeast, I am called a violent armed insurgent. After spending a little speech at school board meetings, I am now called a domestic terrorist. Well, I can live with this. It means I must be doing something right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is a bit insulting that not one person in the gutter crowd since Hillary Clinton has called me a deplorable. I'm absolutely offended. Anyway, thank you for listening to me rant, and I hope you got something out of it. God bless the United States, our great state.
Amen. God bless the USA.
Let's go, Brandon.
All right, everybody give it up for Lamar, guys. All right, and to close out, we got Brandon Burkhart, president of This is Texas Freedom Force. Let's give him a big, let's go, Brandon. How's it going out there, Texans? All right, so last time I was up here speaking, I spoke of the Second Civil War that is actually upon us. This time I want to talk to you guys about rhinos. About rhinos, Republicans in name only. And we've got them in the nation, and we've got them here in Texas as well. Yep. And I'll make the case. Up in the nation, y'all just seen, what was it, 14 Republicans that voted with us for this infrastructure bill? If you realize, some of those names are always voting with the Democrats, pretty much. They always trained us.
Drain the swamp.
We have to drain the swamp. Here in Texas, we've got even bigger problems with rhinos. Our organization has identified a total of 15 rhinos that hold office here in the state. And it starts with the quote-unquote commander-in-chief, Greg Abbott.
Yeah, sad.
How many of y'all believe Greg Abbott is a Republican? I'm going to change your mind. I'm going to change your mind. Okay? How many believe he's a rhino?
Amen.
Pretty much. No, he's not in between. No. The only reason that he is passing conservative legislation right now is because the man is up for re-election.
That's right.
That is it.
Amen.
That is it. Was he trying to secure the border back when Obama was in office? No, he wasn't doing anything about that.
We live on the border.
There you go.
We can tell you a story.
And he also, when it comes to Greg Abbott, the Monument Protection Bill, you haven't heard him say one single word about our Texas history.
Nope.
Since 2017, when we first filed the Monument Protection Bill in the legislative session, we were a little late getting in. It was a special session in 2017, so we were a little late getting in there, but we lobbied Abbott every single day to get him to put it on the special session to protect monuments like this and all of our history across the great state of Texas.
Thank you.
Abbott never said a word about it. He never came out and said, and especially when we were lobbying him for the Alamo Cenotaph and trying to stop it from being removed, he said, oh, that's up to the city of San Antonio. That's up to George P. Bush.
who's another rhino. So we didn't go off and started attacking him in 2017, attacking Abbott. In 2019, we were ready to go. As soon as the session started, we camped out basically at the Capitol every single day, talking to legislators, talking to senators, House representatives. And we thought we had plenty of support. Again, Brandon Creighton, who is Senator Brandon Creighton, has been a very large proponent and in the Monument Protection Bill. He's followed our bill for us now for 3 legislative sessions in a row. And guess what? He's going to file it again next time.
Right.
He believes as we do. We had actually Representative James White. He backed us up in the House with the companion bill. And so we pressed, we went and testified in committees, we went and met with all these people, talked to them about it. All of them said, oh yeah, we support it, blah, blah, blah. We got it through the Senate. Brandon Creighton, I'll tell you what, the Democrats called him every name in the book. He was a racist, he was a bigot, all this other stuff, because he was trying to protect Confederate monuments. That's all they were worried about, Confederate monuments, Confederate monuments. Well, I got news for him. Confederate monuments are part of this history of our great nation. And it's a part of Texas. And Robert E. Lee once said that the enemy never sees the facts in my Texas. Because we don't run from a damn fight.
Facts.
So then, by the time we got it passed through the Senate in 2019, there wasn't much time left in the House, but we still pressed them. They didn't get it done. At that point, we started calling out Abbott. We started calling out some of the others. In fact, there was one individual that was in the Senate that was kind of sitting on the fence line on whether he was going to vote. He's Republican. Some of y'all might know him, Kel Siegler, up in the Amarillo area. So I traveled up to Amarillo. We held a town hall right in the middle of the Waffle House to tell constituents that he was sitting on the fence on this issue. And there was standing room only in this Waffle House. By the time we left, every one of those constituents were pissed. And they let him know about it. The following week, guess who decided to vote for the Monument Protection Bill? Kel Siegler did. And he didn't give us any fits this next go around either. So, although he's not running for re-election, so I won't go down that route. So then came in Alan West. He took control of the Republican Party. At least for Texas. And during that time, we had a vote where 97.3% of all Texans voted to pass a monument protection bill. You can't get 97.3% on a vote on a poll anywhere. We had that. I mean, that's almost 100% of the people. We knew when we went in this legislative session, we knew we had it in the bag. We had the support of plenty of House members and plenty of senators to get this thing done. The rhinos stepped in again. And it started with Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Now, I will say this, nobody worth anything is running against Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, and that's a damn shame. Maybe somebody will. But as of right now, there's nobody that will actually beat the guy. But he told the Senate, Senator Brandon Creighton, file our monument protection bill. He told the Senate, we're not going to listen to last session. We're not going to do it this session. Let the House deal with it first, and then we'll deal with it. We went up and we tried to get into court because we knew if we passed it through the Senate, it would be a lot quicker than it would be to have to go through the House and then go through the Senate. So the bill goes into the committee, which was the tourism and maybe you can correct me on the cultural and tourism committee. Senator Birdwell was head of that committee. He was the chairman. Our bill sat there in that committee forever. We didn't have anybody moving this bill. We went in, myself and Ramon, even our Vice President Lamar, went in and we talked to Senator Birdwell. Not only did we talk to him, but we recorded the entire conversation that we had. And we told him this bill needs to move inside the Senate. And he said, well, Senate leadership is telling us to sit on this bill, so we can't really pass it. And I asked him point blank, I said, do you work for Dan Patrick or do you work for the people of Texas? And of course, his answer was, yes, I work for the people of Texas. I said, well, then the hell what Dan Patrick is telling you to do, pass this through the committee. Let's bring it on.
That's right.
He didn't want to. He wanted to take Dan Patrick's word and basically because Lord knows if he does something, he might get his hand slapped if he moves that bill inside the Senate. So, Birdwell is a rhino. Simply for that reason and that reason alone. And I know he's a veteran, and I'm not knocking him for his veteran service or anything else. But when it comes to the Monument Protection Bill, he sold out Texans by not moving that bill inside the Senate. So we regrouped because, again, we were camping out at the Capitol. We regrouped and started trying to take this fight inside the House. Knew it was going to be a lot harder. We weren't happy with the people that actually filed the bill. We would have rather had somebody like a Kyle Biederman or a Brandon Slayton, or Brian Slayton, excuse me, or maybe even Representative Toad run this bill, but Cole Hefner, he put the bill in there. And we started filling this guy out because we didn't really know much about him. And the guy just lacked the hump to get something done. It was kind of like he's going through the motions. Then later on throughout the session, we end up finding he's too busy chasing tail around the Capitol up there. Him and Representative Slauson sleeping. Well, they're both married and sleeping together. But yet our bill's not moving. It finally gets into the committee. We forced it into the committee. And now it's going to the House Calendars Committee, which is dominated by 7 Republicans, 4 Democrats. So there shouldn't be a reason why that bill shouldn't go through. With 97.3% of the people voting for this bill, the fact that we have lobbied them now for 3 legislative sessions, this was our time to get this done. House Calendars Committee sat on it because the rhinos did not want to move it. Myself, Ramon, Lamar, our members, all up there, we talked to them over and over again, committee members that were Republican. And they did not move it. And that's Representative Burrows, who's the chair. He's another rhino. You have Representative Hefner, who actually authored the bill. Why would you file a bill if you're not going to fight for it to get it passed? Doesn't make sense. Of course, his little bed buddy or butt buddy, Representative Slauson, she's part of it. Representative Patterson, Jared Patterson, he didn't do anything to help it out. He was more interested in trying to get his stuff passed through the Calendars Committee than he was ours. Representative Craddock, another rhino. And okay, so anyway, if you guys want to talk to me, I've got the list. But anyway, those 7 Republicans, not one of them fought for monument protection, despite the people of Texas telling them they wanted this bill passed. It's frustrating.
They don't give up.
That's right.
Yeah.
They don't represent
Republicans control the House. Republicans control the Senate. The Republicans control the lieutenant governor's seat. And the Republicans control the governor's seat. There's no excuse, and we cannot blame the Democrats for this bill not going through as it should have.
Right.
This one falls solely on the rhinos that are stopping it. And yes, ma'am. Okay, her question is that the Tea Party is also upset with a lot of the rhinos, and how do we stop them? How do we get rid of them? The answer to that question is primary. Primary, yes. Each one of our members and our directors told all of those 7 state representatives that sat on the House Governors Committee, we told Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, told Abbott, we even told Senator Birdwell, if you don't pass this bill, we're coming to your district and we're going to create a lot of fuss. We're going to tell your constituents exactly what you did.
Yep.
We're going to tell them that you're failing us. Okay, she's asking basically, how do we decipher between who's blowing smoke up your rear end and who's actually telling you the truth when it comes to the rhinos? And that is their record, their voting record. Listen to groups that are you know, on boots on the ground inside the Capitol, etc. That's the easiest way to be able to do this stuff. I mean, we backed everything up. Every single conversation we had in that Texas Capitol was recorded in one video. None of them knew we were recording, but we got it. And we've released certain videos showing people this because we knew that there would be, you know, backlash and say, oh, no, that's not what happened, etc., etc. Well, we can back it up with video of you saying certain things, blaming another person, etc. That makes that all come around. So the other thing is get involved with organizations like ourselves, Beyond the Mask, others. TXFreedomForce.org, you can join to become a member there. We're on MeWe, and we are not on Facebook. And in fact, any patriot shouldn't be on Facebook. Can we wait till the questions after? I'll talk to you. So every patriot ought to be off Facebook because all you're doing is basically helping the liberal Facebook, Zuckerberg, make money by being on Facebook. Everybody should leave. And I know Trump's coming out with his new social media site, and everybody should get on that site whenever it does come out. I think it's supposed to be out by the beginning of next year or so. Or at least that was a projected thing. But we've got to leave Facebook. Our organization has completely left Facebook. We're on MeWe and Twitter, and we don't even like Twitter, but you know, we haven't had any issues with it. So the main thing is going back to this, we've got to primary each and every one of these. We've got to spread the word that these people are not doing the job that we're asking them to go do. They're not representing us, like this man said down here. They're not doing the will of the people of Texas. Did y'all vote to put all these Republicans into office to allow them to give some of the committee chairs over to the Democratic Party? No, but that's what they did. There was about 7 committees that had Democrat chairs in them, which makes no sense whatsoever. Do you think if the Democrats were elected into office and they controlled the House, that they'd give the Republicans a chair? Absolutely not.
They stick together like glue.
That's right. We have got to stop these people. We've got to put an end to this nonsense. And like I said, we can't blame the Democrats for this nonsense. This is on the Republican Party. This is on the rhinos. You guys that came out, you guys are the first line of defense against this kind of stuff. Your boots on the ground is what we say in our organization. And we need more people with boots on the ground. We need to work hand in hand with other organizations, just like with Beyond the Mask. You know, we came out here, was asked to speak the last time at his event. We brought some of our members out, etc. They came out to the Impeach Biden bridge protest that we had.
Yeah.
How many people were at the Impeach Biden bridge protest, statewide?
A lot.
Y'all want to hear a fun fact? We kept saying over and over that we were going to try to spark a movement. That was the goal of it, because we know right now the Democrats aren't going to impeach Biden, and we know that if Biden was impeached, Harris is going to take office, right? But November next year, if the Republicans have the House and the Senate, we can get rid of it. And since our statewide impeachment, Biden bridge overpass rally, we've had 3 other impeached Biden bridge protest happened, and it's only been a week as of today.
Yeah.
Others that have sparked. So those of y'all that were in attendance, y'all sparked the movement, and it's starting to grow.
Yeah! Let's go, Brandon!
So, going back to these rhinos, we're going to go to their districts. We promised them we would. In fact, I tagged them all today on Twitter, remind them, we ain't forgot about you.
Nice.
You know, one thing that TITFF is persistent sons of, you know what, and if they don't believe us, go down and talk to Nuremberg, or they can go try to find Roberto Trevino, who's not in office anymore. We will stay in the fight, and a lot of patriots these days, it's hard to catch them. They want everything done now. It's got to be done now, or it's not worth doing. Guys, we fought 3.5 years to save this monument.
Yeah!
And there was times when our morale was low, and we thought we'd been licked, but we kept on fighting because we're Texans. That's what we do. And in the end, we ended up winning. When we stared down where you guys are standing right now, when we were over here at the Alamo, this entire place was built with BLM and Antifa rioters and looters who had threatened 48 hours previously to come in and vandalize and quote unquote burn the Alamo to the ground.
Good luck.
And 150 TITFF members said, not on our watch.
Yeah.
And we stood up to them, and guess what? They didn't break that barrier up there. And they almost got hurt. I don't know the details on how, but they almost did. We even protected the police. There's an aerial photograph of the police hiding behind us over here because they were outnumbered and they had to call in backup, etc. That same day, let's go back to Abbott. That same day, May 30th, 2020, there was 3 credible threats that were supposed to be hit when it comes to our Texas history that day. The Alamo was 1, San Jacinto was 2, and the Texas Capitol, the monuments that sit on the Capitol grounds were 3. This is Texas Freedom Force. Sent 2 teams out, 1 to San Jacinto, 1 to the Alamo. At the end of the night was hit and monuments were vandalized. Can y'all guess which one that was? Exactly, where we weren't at. They got into the Capitol. So we've got to have more grassroots people involved. We've got to come together, work together. We've got to be able to fight this stuff because we hold the power. All of us hold the power. And when we come together collectively as one, fighting for the same goal, we win a lot of battles. And that's what we've got to continue to do. So I won't take up too much more of your time, but I will say this, is that if you are looking to find out more about rhinos and why they're doing some of this stuff, I think we've got a whole bunch of information on them. You know, follow us on Twitter, follow us on MeWe, and we'll put information out, and we'll also put the information as far as events, etc. Because when we go to the districts, we're going to raise hell.
Yeah.
And we have to. So, thanks again for being on the master, having us out. You guys are great. I love what y'all doing
Thank you.
here, and we support you on that. So, thank you.
All right, guys. Appreciate everybody coming out today for the third Freedom Rally. I think we're going to take a break at the center so everybody can spend time with their family and stuff, and we'll resume everything back up January at the Capitol so we can be heard. Also, a little remembrance for the J6 stuff that's happening. All those people are still locked up in jail right now in solitary, which is bullshit. So let's get one big old let's go Brandon out here and piss some people off, all these masters. Ready? Let's go Brandon! Let's go Brandon!
Let's go, Brandon! Yeah!
Thanks, everybody.
Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon!
after her. Now, she has more questions.
Let's go, Brandon.
Career military and everything. So, you know, she's
And if it ain't real, they just plan it. Hey,
When
you ask questions, they start banning.
The military,
Let's go, Brandon.
former law enforcement.
Let's go, Brandon. Hey, let's go, Brandon. Show like I'm the cannon. Hey, let's go, Brandon. And if it ain't real, they just plan it. Hey, let's go, Brandon. You ask questions, they start banning. Hey, let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Just like the spread, it was lies. How you roll, but you haven't opened your eyes. These politicians are demons just in disguise. Look at Kyrie Irving and Nicki Minaj. Look at our shorties, that's what's coming next if we don't stand up. Stop complying with them, taking our rights, it's time to man up. Republicans voting for red back laws, that's just what I can't trust. West will stop the facts, then they gonna ban us. Hey, this is about control, everybody knows, everyone complies. We're the kinds of pros, I don't need a plane, I just hit the road, I do what I want, I can't sell my soul, walking by the grass, this is what you chose. Ruin in the country, I think that's the goal, you gon' take the mark, I take never roles, I'm a man of God, I can never fold. I keep the drum like I'm Nick Cannon. Hey, let's go Brandon, hand in the game real, they just planted. Hey, let's go Brandon, when you ask questions, they start banning. Hey, let's go Brandon, hey, let's go Brandon. Hey, let's go Brandon. I keep a drum like I'm Nick Cannon. Hey, let's go Brandon. Pandemic ain't real, they just planned it. Hey, let's go Brandon. You ask questions, they start banning. Hey, let's go Brandon. Hey, let's go Brandon.
Let's go Brandon, and it's clear that man a rat. Let's go Brandon, now the Taliban a threat. Hey, you panning, now the Taliban is standing on her neck, chanting death to America. You want Kelly president? Listen, I don't think you hear, man. Let me make it clear, man. Better keep your hands into yourself, that stuff is weird, man. I wish I could take you in the back place, smear the queer, man. You that I fear God.